Let's begin with our first guest as part of the leadership series, restaurateur extraordinaire,
Well, thank you, Frank.
prominent business person, prominent philanthropist, prominent patriot, probably the most recognizable person in our region, and an all-around good guy. Welcome, Russ Salvatore.
Well, thank you very much, Frank. How long did it take you to practice to say those nice words? How did it
All
take you
night,
a while?
all night.
Long, right? Oh, God's almighty. Well, thank you. You make me feel like $1 million. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Well, let's start out with our first question. Russ, can you provide us with a brief business journey from where you started on East Delavan to where we are today at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and More?
Well, I started on Delavan Avenue with my dad as a young boy. And when I was going to 82 school, I started, before I went to school, I had to go in there and clean the floors. And in those days, we had spittoons, and everybody smoked tainted stogies. And no one probably knows what a spittoon is today, but people were spitting all over and everything. And I used to have to clean up the place. It sounded horrible. And then I was very fortunate. I was 18 years old, and my dad signed the restaurant over to me. And I think I was the youngest person to ever have a liquor license in Western New York, and I took over a corner saloon and converted it into a high-class pizzeria, a spaghetti and meatball place, by getting rid of a lot of tables and putting tablecloths on and putting linen napkins instead of paper napkins, and upgrade a pizza. You came in, you got a plate, a regular plate with a knife and fork, and that's what I must have been born inside of me to be that type of an individual in the hospitality business. I spent quite a few years there, 17, 18 years with my brother. And then in 1967, a little hot dog stand out here on Transit Road, before the 33 was in, I used to drive out there. It was called Jarro's, Mr. and Mrs. Honorado. I love those people. And they had it up for sale. And I negotiated with them and finally bought the place, Frank. And that was back in 1967 for $40,000 and 8 acres of land. Can you believe that? Well, I converted a small little restaurant into Salvatore's Italian Gardens. It wasn't all picturesque starting there because I started that particular individual place, and I wanted to be high class and went with tableside cooking. I opened up an Italian restaurant with no Italian food. Was that pretty stupid? You said I had brains. I got no brains, I'll tell you. But I mean, I had like the veal franchise, tableside, steak a la Russell, tableside. People were coming in asking for a pizza, and I says, we're not related to the Salvatores on Delavan. We don't have pizza, we have no spaghetti. And the first year was very bad for me. I died. I really, really was ready to go under. And Al Maroney on Worley Drive was my success. He said, hang in there, Russ, you're too nice of a guy, you're a good host, and you'll make it. So, well, I went out and became successful there by being at the door, shaking hands, and then I made Salvatore's Italian Gardens into one of the biggest restaurants in New York State, and I decided to step back and give it to my son. They're taking it over, they're doing a wonderful job. I won a year not working. I almost thought I was going to have a breakdown. I tell you, I cried, Frank. And at 75, everybody says, you're not that old, reopen the place. And here we are now at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and More. And not that I want to blow my horn. I love it. I love working, and we're the #1 steakhouse in New York State. You go on Open Table, now I'm not pulling your leg, go on our website, Open Table, and that's where you make your reservations. The people vote. And we work very hard to be #1.
Wow.
That's it. I'm sorry it took up so much time. The show is over with now.
A great story, a wonderful story. So, Russ, you are noted for customer service. Your tagline is, be our guest and let us do the rest. To all of the people watching in business, how important is customer service to you?
Customer service is very, very important. Everyone has the same steak. And our one steak is another steak, is how it's cooked and everything like that. Customer service is so important, and I could remember when I first started in the business, and my dad telling me when I was going to school, and the little Italian guy says, son, you're going to be coming to the restaurant business. I'm going to tell you these here few words. You don't have to have an education to be nice. And I never forgot those words. And believe it or not, when I tell you, we teach that to our people here. When we hire someone, I have meetings, and my words that I'm going, the easiest thing in the world to do is to be nice. You can walk in our front door. Our clerks at the front desk will say good morning. Good morning, how are you? How you doing? Was that so hard? You follow me? When you leave the hotel, the maids are in the hall. Good morning, folks. Did you have a good sleep? Was everything satisfactory? Thank you for spending your night at Russell's Steaks, Chops, and More. It's plain common sense. Customer service is the easiest thing in the world, isn't it?
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I know at one meeting you and I had, you indicated that customer service is everything.
Customer service is definitely everything. I work here from 7 o'clock in the morning till closing every single night. I'll go on vacation on Monday and back home Wednesday because I want to be the one to make sure customer service is 110% at Russell's. And when you come and get seated at Russell's, Russ Salvatore will be at that desk to greet you and say, good evening. I get a thrill out of, because when you come into a white tablecloth restaurant like ours, people are uptight. I swear I could talk to you and within 60 seconds make you feel so relaxed. And when you go to your table to just sit down, you're going to have that, I feel so good. What a nice guy he is. And it's just by saying, hello there, Frank, how are you? What are you celebrating, 25 years? My gosh, you look beautiful. I figured you had to have some kind of a celebration. Look how beautiful you look. And there you look great. 25 years? Well, I'll tell you, and I mean, I've gone as far as people come in. I says, you're celebrating 25 years? Well, you know what, you having dinner? Yes, we are. I got a present before you leave. Before you leave, I'm going to give you a key to one of my jacuzzi suites. You call for a babysitter at home. You're spending the night in the jacuzzi. For 25 years, you deserve to have a lot of fun. And they go, you really mean that? You mean that? And I'll give them a jacuzzi suite to go and enjoy their night and see them for breakfast in the morning. I'm down here to greet. I could relax anybody that works through that door. I could relax them. I mean, I got a guy come in from out of town. Where are you from? We're from Seattle. Okay, now tell me the truth. Would you screw up? They send you to Buffalo? And I got joking with the guy. He goes, "How do you say that?" I did. It seems to be everybody comes to Buffalo if they're on probation.
Well, that's great, Russ. But you know, it's not only important to you, but what impresses me about you is you're involved in the details of customer service. So when people come to Russell's or when they come to the hotel, the details is what makes the customer service. Why don't you share with us some of the details of customer service?
Well, you know, I have spoken at different classes. There are so many people that go out for dinner. Customer service is how you're served. And so many people will accept any type of service today, which is wrong. Your fast food operations has ruined how to serve. In other words, at Russell's, you'll get an appetizer. That appetizer has to be cleaned off the table before you get your next course.
Okay.
And then your next course has to be clean. And and the waiter has to be taken. Did you enjoy anything? I would say I'm the only restaurant in the world, if you come in for dinner and your food is not cooked properly and your wife's dinner has to go back to the kitchen, my policy, both dinners go back to the kitchen. They both come out together. Not that you're done eating and your wife gets her dinner. That's the most stupidest thing in the world. And for the people listening out there, I would say 99% of the people that are listening right now, when you go out for dinner and you're done eating, don't remove no dishes until everybody is done. Everybody's got to be done. Brush the table off. And everyone, when you're listening, you're going to say when you go out, Russ is right. The next course, the waiter will come up to you and ask you, fine, do you care for dessert? Has that ever happened to you? You care for dessert?
Yes.
That's wrong. The next course is, would you care for a cup of coffee? And I will be here to give you the dessert menu. You're not allowed to ask for dessert before coffee. Coffee comes before dessert. It's plain common sense. Everybody going to go out and say, Russ is right. And if you don't if you don't say Russ, if that does not happen, you call me and I will give you a dinner for two on Russ Salvatore and show you how to get service. 10,000 calls come in tomorrow morning. But I mean, I didn't say Frank is going to get the bills. But it's amazing.
Yes.
That's the way customer service is supposed to be. Another pet peeve of mine, when a check is brought to your table, the check is laid on the table, has to be, the waiter has to stay there. If I find a check that is picked up with the money in it or the charge card, and that waiter is not there to pick up that blotter and say thank you very much for dining at Russell's, he's laid off the schedule for a week.
That's how important it is.
That's the second time he's gone.
Okay.
And they don't do it because they know what Russ wants.
Okay.
You got to pick up that check and say thank you. Don't you want to get recognized for the tip that you leave?
Sure, absolutely.
Do I have another 4 hours to talk?
No.
I can go on and on and on. I mean, this.
But I think you have made the point that it's the small things that count.
It's the small things that count.
It's the details.
Again, make that customer feel as the way you would expect to feel when you go out.
Okay.
You want to feel good. Don't overthrow it. Don't try to serve the guy fast and turn it over to get the guy out of there to get a bigger tip.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, great. So far we've acknowledged how important it is. We've acknowledged it's important to be nice, and it's important to get into the details of customer service.
Yes.
And you do. Just on a personal note, the first time Russ and I met here to talk about Canisius and all the things we're doing, we were walking back to the table with a cup of coffee, and Russ noticed a table that wasn't cleaned. He put down his cup of coffee, went to the table, picked up the unclean dishes, took them into the kitchen, and now he was comfortable enough to talk to me.
It would bother me. Bother me talking to him.
But that's getting your hands into it. Russ, you also have a sterling reputation of giving back to the community. Giving back to all sorts of organizations, ECMC as an example,
yes.
the Boys Club of Depew as an example, Roswell Park as an example. What is your philosophy of service to the community, and why is it important to you?
Well, you know, I've been working for I would say 70 years, and I've been fortunate enough to be successful. I make money. I'm not a rich man, but I mean, the thing is, the community is what's made me. The community spends money here. What am I going to do? Die and take it to heaven? Notice I said heaven, okay? You know, I'll take it to heaven and buy cocktails for everybody. I don't know who'll be up there, for God's sake. But I mean, the way I look at it right now, I'm 82 years old, and I plan on giving every penny away before I die. I don't give a lot, but anything that can help the entire community. ECMC happened that started me going, broke my ankle. They needed 400 television sets, and I gave it to them. They built a school, a floor after me, named it after me. I don't want to sound like a show-off. I enjoy getting my name on buildings.
Okay.
Anything that can go, they say Russ Salvatore's Boys and Girls Club, I help them by giving a little bit that gives them big loans. And my family's taken care of. What does a person do that has a lot of money if you die? Do you see any coffins with pockets? I mean, be honest with you. What do you do with your money when you die? Don't you feel good when you go to sleep at night that you helped a bunch of people? My Patriots in Heroes Park, that was supposed to be a plaza. People who are listening to us, please stop and see the Patriots in Heroes Park. It's the most gorgeous thing in Western New York. I built that for the community. Back to the soldiers, back to the veterans. Mm-hmm. I got so many memorials in there that cost me millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I gave that back to the community, the only piece of land that's green on Transit Road. But I'm nuts. I guess, you know.
Well, you're not. You're not nuts. I mean, I think that you're noted as a person of giving, and your reason for giving is because the community has been so good to you.
They've been good to me.
You know, and that's just wonderful. And by the way, Patriots in Heroes Park, it's going to be a landmark. It's going to be an Erie County landmark. It's that nice, so we encourage you all to visit it.
And that's right across the street from the restaurant.
Right across the street from a restaurant on Transit Road. All right, Russ, you are closing in on 70 years in the business. What keeps Russ Salvatore going?
Well, To be very honest with you, you're going to think I'm a liar. My doctor thought I was a liar. I work hard every day. About 10 o'clock at night, I have 3 vodkas on the rocks. I eat a steak dinner every night. I go upstairs, I smoke 3 cigarettes. I watch a little bit of sports and I go to sleep, and I get up the next morning and I can't wait to come in and greet my people. What makes me going is all the years I've been in it, I keep striving to be the best. I want to be the best restaurant ever created in this world. I try to be number one with everything that I do. Work to be the best. I tell my servers, when you're out there, don't worry about money. Money will come. Try to be the best. The easiest thing to do the best. Love what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, get out of it. And I love what I do so much. I love it. I love it. I blew my whole family because I love it so much. It's a shame, you know.
Well, and that's the truth. Whatever you do the best.
Well, thank you very much.
Whatever Russ does, he does the best. Russ, you have given our people, the people on our website, miles and miles of wisdom. And I'm here to say thank you, Russ Salvatore. This was a great interview.
Thank you for allowing me to be with you. And I hope I didn't talk too much, Frank.
And you did very well. Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Frank.